Hello everybody, I'm Melissa and welcome back to Book Bar and welcome to my January wrap-up. Now, normally I film my wrap-ups in two parts. I usually have a mid-month wrap-up and an end-of-month wrap-up, but I got really sick at the mid-month wrap-up time, so I did not film one. So this is going to be a rapid-fire end-of-month wrap-up. I read, in the month of January, I read a total of 26 books and had one DNF, and it was a soft DNF. I just wasn't into the audiobook, so I need to read it physically or on ebook. So if this is your first wrap-up of mine that you're watching, I go in order of how I completed the books, so I might not necessarily have started them this way. Like one book I started at the beginning of the month and it took me all month to read it, so you won't hear about it till the end of the month. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get on into it, starting with the first book I completed. That was Indigo Ridge by Devney Perry. This is a small town romance, kind of has suspense vibes. It's Griffin and Winslow. I gave it 4.5 stars. I have a whole vlog where I read this entire series, so you'll hear lots about this series coming up in the next couple books, but I will have the vlog linked up above. Then I completed The Witch Collector by Charissa Weeks. I gave this 3.5 stars. This is Raina and Alexis, and Raina wants revenge on the Witch Collector because he took her sister years ago and he keeps coming back and he is not yet to take her, and she wants to get her sister back. So I also had a vlog where I read this by Fantasy Romance Vlog, so that will be linked above. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was decent. I am interested in continuing. Then I finished a book that I am not going to talk about because it is a St. Martin's Press, so I am not going to speak about it because there's a boycott going on. So then I finished my reread of House of Earth and Blood. This is the first book in the Crescent City series. I was reading it in order to get prepared for the third book that came out at the end of the month. And still 5 stars. Favorite book, one of my favorite books of all time. This follows Bryce and Hunt, and at the beginning of this book something tragic happens to Bryce, and then there's a time jump, and now it's like 2 years later, and murders like what had happened previously are happening again. And so Bryce is tasked with trying to figure out what happened and how they are connected, and she is put in contact with fallen angel Hunt Athalar, and things go from there. So this is fantastic. 5 stars. Then I finished I Think I Might Need You by Christina C. Jones. This is the second book in the Love Sisters novellas. This was Joya and Teddy, and it's a second chance surprise pregnancy. And it was 4 stars. I had a decent time with it. I don't remember a ton about it, but it was good. I enjoyed it. Then I finished Saving Six by Chloe Walsh. This is Joey and Aoife's first story. This is the third story in the Boys of Tommen series. Joey and Aoife are both from the same town, and Joey works for Aoife's father, and they meet on the first day of school, and they're instantly attracted to each other, but Joey knows he can't do anything because he works for her father and wants to respect Tony, and things go from there. Of course, it follows, it spans many, many years, but it was fantastic. I gave 5 stars. Then I finished A Thief of Silver and Souls by Eva Chase. This I gave 3 stars. This is a Why Choose romance, fantasy romance, following a girl named Ivy who happens to ends up stealing someone's soul on accident, basically. And I also had, this is in my fantasy romance vlog, so that will be linked above, like I said before. And she ends up in a relationship with the 4 guys that were working with the woman whose soul she accidentally stole: Alec, Benedict, Stavros, and Casimir. And yeah, it was decent. I would be interested in continuing the series. Then I finished Juniper Hill by Devney Perry. This is the second book in the Eden series. This is Knox and Memphis, and Memphis is just new to town. She has a very young baby, and she ends up living in Knox's garage apartment, and he helps her with her son because he does not like to sleep. So he comes over and helps, and yeah, it was adorable. It was 5 stars. I cried. I loved it. Then I finished Fake-ish by Winter Renshaw, and I gave this 3 stars. I don't remember much. It was a one-night stand to more with, then a couple years later, or a year later, she is asked by her boss to be his fake fiance, and her boss slash fake fiance ends up being the brother of the guy who she had the one night stand with, and you know, who's she gonna pick? So I mean, you know, pretty quick who she's gonna pick, but it was kind of boring. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine, like not good, not bad. It was an easy read, listen. Then I finished Garnet Flats by Devney Perry. This is the 3rd book in the Eden series. This is a second chance romance, Foster and Talia, and I gave this one 5 stars. I loved it. Second chance, single dad, just all of my favorite things. Oh, one book I skipped, I forgot to mention, is Stars in Your Eyes by Kacen Callender. This was 4 stars. This book broke me. It was a male-male romance following Maddie and Logan, and they end up having to fake date because they're working on a show or a movie together. And it was like there was a lot of trauma from both of them, especially Logan, like from the past, and it was just stunningly beautiful. The book was. It was stunning. Yes. Then I finished The Last Call at the Local by Sarah Grunder Ruiz. I read this for reading 5 January new releases. That vlog will be linked above. I gave this 4.5 stars. This was Jack and Rain, and Rain ends up going to this bar on a night when she like had everything stolen from her, and the guy there offers her a job. That guy is Jack. Things go from there. One thing leads to another. It was adorable. 4 stars. 4.5 stars. Then I read Loving Romeo by Laura Pavlov. Again, 4.5 stars. Also read for the new release vlog. This is Romeo and Demi, and Romeo is a boxer, and he's had this guy like bugging him, like wanting to box him, and he finally like gives in and is like, whatever. So he does, but that's like a small part of it, obviously. And also he owns a boxing gym, and next door to him moves in this girl who is like the princess of the town, and he hates her family for reasons that you learn in the story, and it was just fantastic. I gave 4.5 stars. Then I DNF'd Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. The audiobook was confusing because there's multiple POVs, and I couldn't tell who was who, and so I figured I needed to like actually physically read it, whether that's on ebook or read it physically. It was decent. I was having a good time with it. I just couldn't follow along with the audiobook. Then I read Mr. Librarian by B. Love. This was Honey and Khalil. This was wild. This was a novella, and I gave it 3.5 stars. And I have really enjoyed some B. Love novellas in the past. But this one just had too much going on. Like, it's a novella. We don't need 17 different storylines happening. We really just need like 1 or 2. And this one had like 15, like crazy. It was like wild. It was like mafia adjacent, but then there was some, like, there was too much. So sometimes less is more, especially in a novella. Then I finished Jasper Vale by Devney Perry. This was my least favorite in the Eden's series, but again, it will be in the vlog. This is Jasper and Eloise, and it is a marriage in Vegas romance. Then I finished Crimson River by Devney Perry. This is Lila and Vance, and at the beginning of the book, something happens to Lila, and Vance comes to town he's a cop who is investigating some stuff, and he wants to know what happened to Lila, and one thing leads to another. I had a great time with it. Then I finished my reread of House of Sky and Breath. This is the 2nd book in the Kristen Study series. I was reading it in preparation for book 3. Still 5 stars. This is, it's a continuation of book 1. Crazy stuff happens, and the ending has your jaw dropping, but loved it. 5 stars. Even on reread, even a 3rd time rereading it. Then I finished Sable Peak by Devney Perry. This is a single dad forced proximity romance. This is Mateo and Vera. This was 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. Vera, you learn who she is in the book before this, and Mateo is the youngest Eden sibling. So fantastic. Loved it. 5 stars. Then I finished Some Things Never Change by C. Yang. This was a debut. I had got an arc of this. It was fantastic. I gave it 4 stars. This is Andy and Julie, and it's friends to lovers. They become roommates, forced proximity, it's always been you. Like, there's just so much amazingness happening in it. This was a debut, so it is very much debut-like. There are some pacing issues and things. I talk about it in my new release vlog. I will have a link to both again. Then I finished Heavenly Bodies by Imani and Erriu. I give this 3.5 stars. This is a fantasy romance that uses like the stars and astrology and things like that, and yeah, I gave it 3.5 stars. I had a good time. I'm excited to continue. This is Alara and Enzo, and Alara's family in the beginning is murdered, and she runs away and seeks refuge in Enzo's land, and things go from there. And there are some secrets unveiled and things happening, but it was fantastic. I gave it 3.5 stars. I'm excited to continue. Then I read Don't Want You Like a Best Friend by Emma Alban. I gave this 3 stars. I also read this for the new release vlog. This is Gwen and Beth. It's a historical sapphic friends to lovers romance. It was kind of boring at parts, and yeah, I just felt like their HEA wasn't an HEA, so 3 stars. Then I read Twilight of Embers by Tessa Hale. This also for the new release vlog. I gave this 4 stars. This is a Why Choose Dragon Shifter romance that has a fantastic cast of characters on the audiobook. This is Hayden, Knox, Kale, Killian, Easton, and Maddox. And Hayden in the beginning, her family is murdered, and now it's years later and she goes to college, and on her first day of school she meets Knox, who instantly knows that she is his horde's mate. And his horde consists of the 5 men, and each one of them has a different relationship with her, and some of them don't want anything to do with her, so it's interesting. But yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I'm excited to continue. The ending had me shocked. Then I finished The 100 Years' War on Palestine by Rashid Khalidi. I'm not rating this. It was a nonfiction that I read to learn more, to, better myself as a human being. And I don't feel it right to rate it because I am not an expert. I don't know anything about I am trying to learn, and that's all that this was. It served its purpose. Then I finished Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessica Q. Sutanto. I gave this 5 stars. This was adorable. It was a cozy mystery following a woman named Vera who runs a tea shop, and one day she comes downstairs and finds a man murdered in her tea shop, or dead in her tea shop, and she believes it wasn't accidental. She believes it was a murder, and she meets these 4 people along the way, and they all kind of form like a found family, and it was just beautiful. I loved it. I had a great time with it. I gave 5 stars. Then I read Through the Glen by Samantha Young. This book actually the audiobook was released before the ebook. The book was released on February 1st, which is the day I'm filming this. I gave this 5 stars. This is Sarah and Theo, and Sarah we've seen her if you've read all of the books in the Adair Family and the Highlands series, you've seen her in the background. She works on Ardnok, and she's a very shy, quiet, reserved person, and then one day she goes up to Theo's room and tells him she wants him to help her adapt her book that she's secretly been writing into a screenplay. And he at first tells her no until he realizes that it just might be the thing he needs. And so he seeks her out, and things go from there, and it was beautiful, and I had a great time with it. Then the last book that I finished was Believe in Me by Alexandria House. This is the second book in the Strickland Sisters series. I gave this 4.5 stars. This is Lorenzo and Renee, and it's a very insta-love, but I had a great time with it. It's probably my favorite book by Alexandria House I've read so far. I had a fantastic time. I loved Lorenzo and Renee's relationship, and how everything kind of played out in the end. I had a great time with it. But yeah, those are the 26 books and 1 DNF I had in the month of January. If you made it to the end of this video, leave me a broken heart emoji, because I had some really bad news today, so just leave me a broken heart emoji. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out, and I really could use the help right now. And that's all I have for now. I don't even know how to end this. I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye.